Nile River, a name that echoes through history. The Nile is not just a river, it is a lifeline that has nurtured civilizations for thousands of years. From the ancient Egyptians who built their pyramids and temples along its banks to the modern cities that thrive today, the Nile has always been central to life in this region. This incredible river, the longest in the world, flows for over 6,800 kilometers. It traverses 11 countries, each with its own unique landscapes and cultures, all connected by the Nile's waters. Its journey begins in the heart of Africa at Lake Victoria. This vast lake, one of the largest in the world, is the primary source of the Nile's waters. From here, the river embarks on an epic journey northward. From there, it snakes its way north through mountains and deserts until it reaches the Mediterranean Sea. Along the way, it passes through diverse terrains, from lush rainforests to arid deserts, each contributing to the river's unique character. For thousands of years, the Nile has been a source of life for the people of Northeast Africa. Its waters have sustained agriculture, provided drinking water, and supported communities in countless ways. The Nile's most famous gift is its water. This precious resource has been the foundation of life and prosperity in the region. Without the Nile, the civilizations that flourished here would not have been possible. Each year the river floods, bringing with it rich silt that fertilizes the land. This annual inundation has been crucial for agriculture, allowing farmers to grow crops in an otherwise inhospitable environment. This annual flood created a fertile green valley in the middle of a harsh desert. The contrast between the lush green banks of the Nile and the surrounding arid landscape is striking, a testament to the river's life-giving power. This is the Nile Valley, a place where civilizations have thrived for millennia. The remnants of these ancient cultures can still be seen today in the form of temples, tombs, and other archaeological sites that line the river's banks. The Nile is more than just water. It is a way of life. The river has shaped the culture, economy, and daily routines of the people who live along its banks. It is a way of life. People use the river for transportation, for fishing, and for trade. The Nile is a bustling artery of activity, connecting communities and fostering economic growth. People use the river for transportation, navigating its waters in traditional wooden boats and modern ferries alike. The river is a vital link between towns and cities, enabling the movement of goods and people for fishing and for trade. The Nile's waters teem with fish, providing a crucial source of food for local communities. Fishing is not just a livelihood, but a tradition passed down through generations. The Nile connects people and places. It is a lifeline that brings together diverse cultures and communities, fostering a sense of unity and shared heritage. It's a vital part of the ecosystem, supporting a wide variety of plants and animals. The river's banks are home to lush vegetation and diverse wildlife, creating a rich and vibrant ecosystem. The Nile River, a source of life, a route for trade, a place of beauty. Its waters have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the ebb and flow of history. Its story is intertwined with the history of humanity. The Nile is not just a river, it is a symbol of life, resilience, and continuity. It is a testament to the enduring power of nature and the indomitable spirit of the people who call its banks home. The ancient Egyptians called the Nile River Ar, which means black. This name was derived from the rich, dark silt that the river deposited on its banks every year. The annual flooding of the Nile was a predictable and essential event that transformed the arid landscape into fertile farmland. Without this natural irrigation system, the civilization of ancient Egypt might never have flourished in such a harsh desert environment. This referred to the rich, dark soil the river left behind after its annual flood. The silt was so nutrient-rich that it allowed the Egyptians to cultivate a variety of crops, ensuring a stable food supply. This annual renewal of the soil was crucial for sustaining the population and supporting the growth of cities and towns along the river. This fertile soil was the lifeblood of ancient Egypt. It enabled the Egyptians to develop advanced agricultural techniques and create a surplus of food, which in turn supported a complex society with specialized professions, from artisans to priests. The abundance of food allowed the civilization to thrive and expand its influence across the region. It allowed the Egyptians to grow crops like wheat, barley, and flax. These crops were not only essential for daily sustenance but also played a significant role in the economy. Wheat and barley were staple foods, while flax was used to produce linen, a valuable textile that was traded both locally and internationally. These crops provided food and materials for clothing. The surplus of these goods enabled trade with neighboring regions, bringing in additional resources and wealth. The ability to produce and trade these essential items was a cornerstone of Egypt's economic power. The Nile was also a vital transportation route for the ancient Egyptians. The river served as a natural highway, facilitating the movement of people, goods, and ideas. This connectivity helped unify the various regions of Egypt, fostering a sense of shared culture and identity. They built boats from papyrus reeds and used them to travel up and down the river. These boats were ingeniously designed to navigate the Nile's currents and were essential for trade, fishing, and transportation. The ability to travel efficiently along the river was a key factor in the development of Egypt's economy and infrastructure. This allowed them to trade goods, connect communities, and build a powerful empire. The Nile's role as a trade route extended Egypt's influence far beyond its borders, enabling the exchange of goods, culture, and knowledge with other civilizations. This exchange enriched Egyptian society and contributed to its long-lasting legacy. The Nile was not just a source of life for the ancient Egyptians, it was also a source of inspiration. The river's beauty and its vital role in daily life were celebrated in art, literature, and religious practices. The Nile was often depicted in hieroglyphics and paintings symbolizing fertility, abundance, and the divine. They believed the river was a god and they worshipped it as such. The Nile was personified as the god Hapi, who was honored with festivals and offerings. This reverence for the river underscored its importance in both the physical and spiritual lives of the Egyptians. The Nile was central to their religious beliefs, their mythology, and their art. Temples and monuments were often built along its banks, and many myths and legends revolved around the river and its deities. The Nile's presence was a constant reminder of the divine forces that the Egyptians believed governed their world. The ancient Egyptians left behind a legacy of stunning monuments, intricate hieroglyphics, and captivating stories. These achievements were made possible by the resources and stability provided by the Nile. The river's influence is evident in the grandeur of the pyramids, the complexity of the hieroglyphics, and the richness of the cultural heritage that continues to fascinate the world today. All of this was made possible by the Nile River, the life-giving artery of their civilization. The river's consistent and reliable flooding cycle provided the foundation for one of the most remarkable civilizations in human history. The story of ancient Egypt is, in many ways, the story of the Nile, a river that nurtured a people, inspired a culture, and left an indelible mark on the world. Today, the Nile River remains as vital as ever. Over 300 million people in 11 different countries depend on the Nile for their survival. The river provides water for drinking, for irrigation, and for industry. The Aswan High Dam, completed in 1970, is a testament to the Nile's importance in the modern world. This massive dam, located in southern Egypt, provides hydroelectric power to millions. It also helps to control the Nile's flow, preventing devastating floods and ensuring a more reliable water supply for agriculture. The Nile continues to be a major transportation route, connecting towns and villages along its banks. Ferries, cargo ships, and traditional feluccas, wooden sailboats, still ply the river's waters, carrying goods and people. The Nile River is not just a relic of the past, it is a lifeline for millions, a source of energy and a vital transportation artery. Its waters sustain life, drive economies, and connect communities. So Section 4. The Nile's challenges, pollution and dams. The Nile River, despite its strength and resilience, faces significant challenges. As one of the longest rivers in the world, it traverses multiple countries, each contributing to and suffering from the issues that plague its waters. The river is a lifeline for millions, providing water for drinking, agriculture, and industry. However, human activities have increasingly put this vital resource at risk. Pollution is a growing concern. Industrial waste, agricultural runoff, and untreated sewage all find their way into the river, contaminating its waters and threatening the health of the people and wildlife that depend on it. Factories along the riverbanks often discharge pollutants directly into the Nile, while farms contribute pesticides and fertilizers that wash into the water during rains. Untreated sewage from rapidly growing urban areas exacerbates the problem, introducing harmful bacteria and chemicals into the water. This contamination not only affects the aquatic life, but also poses serious health risks to the communities that rely on the Nile for their daily needs. The river's once clear waters are now often murky and filled with debris, a stark reminder of the environmental degradation taking place. The construction of dams, while essential for water management and power generation, has also had negative impacts on the Nile. These massive structures are crucial for controlling floods, generating hydroelectric power and providing water for irrigation. However, they come with significant ecological costs. Dams can alter the river's natural flow, disrupting fish migration patterns and reducing the amount of nutrient-rich silt that reaches the delta. Fish species that rely on the river's flow to reach their spawning grounds are particularly affected, leading to declines in fish populations. The reduction in silt, which is essential for maintaining fertile agricultural lands, has far-reaching consequences. This reduction in silt deposition has led to erosion in the Nile Delta, a critically important agricultural region. The delta, which has been farmed for thousands of years, is losing its fertility, making it harder for farmers to grow crops. The loss of silt also means that the delta is less able to absorb floodwaters, increasing the risk of flooding in the region. Saltwater intrusion from the Mediterranean Sea is also a growing problem, further threatening the delta's fragile ecosystem and the livelihoods of the people who live there. As sea levels rise, saltwater pushes further into the delta, contaminating fresh water supplies and agricultural lands. This intrusion not only affects crop yields, but also the availability of drinking water for local communities. Protecting the Nile River from pollution and mitigating the negative impacts of dams are critical challenges that require cooperation and innovative solutions. Efforts to clean up the river and reduce pollution are underway, but much more needs to be done. Governments, local communities, and international organizations must work together to implement sustainable practices and technologies that can help restore the health of the Nile. The future of the Nile and the millions who depend on it depends on our ability to address these threats effectively. By taking action now, we can ensure that this ancient river continues to sustain life for generations to come. The Nile's challenges are significant, but with collective effort and determination, they can be overcome. Section 5. Working Together. The Nile Basin Initiative. The Nile River doesn't recognize national borders. It flows through 11 countries, each with its own unique needs and priorities. This shared resource requires shared responsibility and cooperation. The Nile Basin Initiative, established in 1999, is a testament to this understanding. The NBI is a partnership between the Nile riparian countries. Its goal is to promote sustainable management and development of the Nile River Basin. This means ensuring that all countries have access to the water they need, while also protecting the environment and promoting regional peace and stability. The NBI facilitates dialogue, data sharing, and joint projects among the riparian countries. It focuses on areas like water resource management, agricultural development, and environmental protection. The Nile Basin Initiative is a beacon of hope, demonstrating that cooperation and shared responsibility are essential for managing transboundary water resources like the Nile River. By working together, the Nile riparian countries can ensure a sustainable future for the river and its people.